Trump administration pushes back against reports of poor conditions on board an aircraft carrier deployed in the conflict with Iran. What the president is saying about the USS Lincoln.
An influx of stingrays in Southern California. I'm Abby Black, working for you on how to prevent stingray injuries.
Cracking down on off-leash dogs, what the city of San Diego is doing to prevent poop from popping up on school fields like this one as kids return to the classroom.
Sweetwater Valley is just one win away from the Little League World Series. We're live from a watch party tonight in the South Bay.
Tonight, federal lawmakers are demanding answers about conditions aboard the San Diego-based USS Lincoln, and we've learned the carrier could soon be headed home. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Cicchetto.
I'm Stephanie Simmons, in tonight for Marcella. The aircraft carrier has been deployed far longer than normal, and now family members of the sailors on board are reporting low morale and poor conditions.
We've been following this developing story for the last few days, and as Natalie Brand shares, President Trump is dismissing concerns around the ship's conditions.
As President Trump left D.C. for an event in Long Island Friday, he responded to questions about conditions aboard the USS Lincoln deployed in the conflict with Iran.
Family members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough.
The Lincoln has spent 9 months at sea, conducting more than 10,000 flights. Some family members have expressed concern about poor morale on the ship and a shortage of supplies.
Basic necessities like toothpaste, soap, clean water, and even food, that is a betrayal of trust by the top officials in our Department of Defense.
Democrat Richard Blumenthal, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, says he wants answers from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Hegseth has called the reporting a misrepresentation.
The military says a new aircraft carrier is now headed to relieve the Lincoln as the conflict with Iran approaches 7 months.
Iran has sort of happened upon a strategy that is working for it, not to mention that it does maintain at least an ability to disrupt traffic through the strait, if not control it outright.
The Trump administration is signaling it could soon put new economic pressure on Iran. The Treasury Secretary also said the continued naval blockade will keep anything from going in or out of Iranian ports. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Secretary of the Navy put out a statement today about the USS Lincoln, saying the safety and security of the sailors and Marines always comes first. He also said a small number of mental health cases were treated with no loss of life. Tonight, reaction is pouring in after the teenager caught on camera kicking a sea lion in La Jolla pleaded guilty.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says 18-year-old Tyler Mule admitted to kicking the animal 4 times last month, a violation of the Marine Mammal Protection Act. A warning, some of the following video may be difficult to watch. This video sparked outrage far beyond San Diego. Now, Mule faces up to a year in prison and a $100,000 fine at his sentencing in October. Today, News 8 talked with volunteers who protect the sea lions at La Jolla Cove. They say a prosecution like this is rare and long overdue.
It saddens me to think that it had to come to this incident to really rile people up and get the attention.
Mule's attorney says her client accepted responsibility at his first court hearing and will address mitigating circumstances at sentencing. 13 previously closed public restrooms are back open in Mission Bay. The move reverses a closure from last month that drew intense criticism from residents and visitors. Many complained about the inconvenience of walking a quarter mile to find an open restroom and the increasingly unsanitary conditions. The restrooms will be open through the end of the year, and then they'll need to find more funding to keep them open.
Take a look at this stingray invasion happening in Seal Beach. Definitely living up to its nickname, Ray Bay. Researchers recently swept up hundreds of stingrays in that area alone, and lifeguards up and down the coast of Southern California are reporting an increase in stingray injuries, including right here in San Diego.
News 8's Abby Black is working for you, breaking down why we're seeing so many stingrays and how you can prevent getting stung.
latest video of this stingray invasion in Seal Beach, known as Ray Bay because of its abundant stingray population. Researchers there recently swept up about 200 stingrays, each about the size of a frisbee, using a 75-foot-long net. La Jolla Shores snorkeler Renee Rayner says that she has second thoughts about heading up to Seal Beach tomorrow.
Because I'm supposed to go up there tomorrow, actually, with my daughter, and then I seen all the stingrays, and I was like, I don't know if we're going to go there, just because I'm not trying to get stung.
Seal Beach is not alone. We've covered an influx of stingrays earlier this year on San Diego beaches. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration says that stingrays are more active in warmer water, but there are also more people in the water at the same time, so likely a combination of both. NOAA says that Southern California's ocean has been unusually warm for months due to marine heat waves. Working for you, we reached out to San Diego Fire Rescue's lifeguards to get the current temperature on stingray injuries this year. They report they've treated 1,207 so far.
We've had roughly 200 more people get stung by stingrays this time this year in comparison to this time last year.
So we talked to lifeguards on how to prevent a stingray injury. We're going to talk about those shallow sandy shorelines, the stingray shuffle, and leaning towards more of these crowded areas and what to do if you get stung by a stingray.
Stingrays like to hang out on shallow sandy shorelines like Mission and Ocean Beaches and La Jolla Shores, but Lieutenant John Maher knows firsthand that they can be anywhere.
Yeah, I've been stung by stingrays 2 times, once on a sandy beach and once it was actually standing on a reef. So they do go everywhere.
To avoid getting stung, hang out in crowded areas and move your feet instead of taking strides.
I do the shuffle. I do the stingray shuffle.
If you do get stung, Lieutenant Maher recommends going straight to a lifeguard tower.
We treat them with hot water, not to exceed 110 degrees, which helps break that venom down, and it helps the pain.
Most victims don't need the ER, but Maher says that if the pain lasts more than a day or you see signs of infection, seek further medical care. Working for you in La Jolla Shores, Abby Black, News 8.
And remember, if there's something you would like us to look into, you can email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Right now, the Sweetwater Valley Little League team is moments away from first pitch, playing for the chance to move on to the Little League World Series. They beat Hawaii 6-0 on Tuesday.
Tonight, it's a rematch with the South Bay team playing Hawaii again, this time for the West Region title. The winner will then head to Pennsylvania. Ooh, fingers crossed for our team. News 8's Alex Cheney is at the watch party at Novo Brazil in Otay Ranch, where people are rooting for the boys. It's getting loud, Alex.
Hey there, yes, Stephanie. We got a really big watch party tonight for Sweetwater Valley. They've been filling up this area here at the Novo. They've been showing some scenes from the game. First pitch hasn't happened yet, but every time ESPN goes to it, we get a big roar out of this crowd here. You can see lots of kids and their parents, everybody really excited for this game tonight to cheer on their friends. Thank you for that. All right, and let's go to some sound.
I'm here for Sweetwater.
It's huge for all the kids. Yeah, he plays at Eastlake, and yeah, we play in an area, so regardless, we're pulling for SoCal. They're our friends and all that, our kids' friends. So yeah, we're still pulling for them.
I think it'll motivate a lot of kids. It'll mean a lot for the town. Represent San Diego in the Little League World Series and get these boys excited to let them know that they can do it too, and they could be there in a couple of years.
Super excited for them. Can't wait. It'd be such a fun game for them to win.
One thing I've noticed is after the season ended, these kids started practicing together, and they've been practicing ever since the last week of May or first week of June. And daily practices, 3-4 hours a day, grinding it out, working hard, and never giving up. And really, they have confidence in each other, they trust each other, and that's really what I think is making this team special, is their ability to play with each other and have fun.
All right, it looks like the game is just getting started. You got the pitcher taking the mound now for Sweetwater Valley. We're going to come back to you at 7. We're going to have some reaction from what happens for these guys tonight. All these fans really excited. Hopefully Sweetwater gets the win and makes another San Diego representative into the Little League World Series. Back over to you.
We're all rooting for that.
We sure are. We sure are.
A San Diego professor is using a children's book to highlight how the San Diego-Tijuana border is more than just a wall.
Those details still ahead for you. Plus, how San Diego leaders are promising to crack down on off-leash dogs in parks across the city.
Now that area of high pressure has moved towards the east, so that's why you're seeing a lot of these heat alerts expanding across the southeast, as well as flood concerns across the Midwest with clashing air masses, and also a red flag warning in effect for portions of the Pacific Northwest because of lightning. I'll explain coming up.